Welcome to the vault. Did rejection from one of the girls push Bryan Kohberger to murder? Or he was a born killer? Or he was a made killer? Bullying, insecurities, low self-esteem, no self-worth led a 28-year-old Caucasian male to sheer madness. Bitterness led this male to stalk out victims and then kill them. Which is it? Incel has been used. Is he a woman hater? Easy to anger? Would he have killed a man? A child? Would it have been anyone who rejected him, crossed him? Bias in opinion, disagreement. Thank you for joining me. Law and Crime Network is the source.
We may finally know how accused killer Bryan Kohberger is connected to his alleged victims. A law enforcement source tells People magazine Kohberger reached out to at least one of the victims on Instagram. Kohberger is accused of stabbing 4 University of Idaho students to death in their off-campus home in November. An investigator told People magazine just 2 weeks before the murders, an Instagram account believed to be Kohberger's messaged one of the girls repeatedly, but did not get a reply. The source says they were mostly messages saying, "Hey, how are you?" But he sent them over and over again. It's possible the victim didn't even see the DM request, since Instagram sends them to a separate folder than regular messages. Kohberger's Instagram account has now been deleted, but People magazine says prior to that happening, it appeared Kohberger was following all 3 female victims. Kayla Gonsalves, Maddie Mogan, and Zana Konogo all lived in a home on Kings Road. Zana's boyfriend, Ethan Chapin, was there the night of the murders, and he was also killed. Terry, with the discovery of these Instagram DMs or direct messages, do you think the prosecution could finally have a motive? And what do you think it could be?
Well, you know what, Bryan, as we all know, you don't have to have a motive. You just have to show the intent to kill for murder. And we have that, I think, with all of the evidence. But the motive here, I think, might be multiple. The fact that he might have been rejected in his own mind by one of the victims. And we've heard reports that he may have also been rejected by other women that he approached in bars. So he very well could just be angry against women and the fact that he's being rejected constantly. The other issue is we know he has a master's degree in criminology. He was working towards PhD. Maybe he just wanted to commit a crime and see if he could get away with it. He thinks he's smarter than everyone else. So I would combine that if I were the prosecution in this case and go after both those motives.
Yeah, rejection, a little bit of catch me if you can. Jesse, if this is all true, why wasn't it mentioned in the probable cause affidavit?
I think it could be one of 2 reasons. One, it's a probable cause affidavit. You don't need to include everything in there. This is not all the evidence to support a conviction against Bryan Kohberger, just what was the evidence to support him being arrested. They might have still been developing information. And I think the second reason could have been they just didn't know about it. Remember, this is an ongoing investigation. We are going to be learning a lot more about Kohberger, or police or prosecutors are, between now and an eventual trial. They're going to talk with more witnesses. They're going to learn more about him. This is the start of the investigation, so don't be surprised that there's going to be more that comes out that wasn't in that probable cause affidavit.
Yeah, I can't wait for that preliminary hearing. Probably get even more in that as well. Well, thank you both. Authorities in California say a gunman stood over...
All right, everybody, that's the set information. There was a brief commentary about law and crime. Information has come out that he DM'd one of the victims. Who was the victim? Which girl was it? Kaylee, Maddie, or Xana? The interesting thing about this information, as I said before in my earlier video this morning, please check it out in my library. You've got to get the timeline down, because there's up and down with the June and August information. So let's say he came to Washington in June he started following them on Instagram or other pages that they had. When did he actually send a message? Information source says weeks before the killing, which would have been October. So if he was already in Washington, June, began following the girls in June. So you have July, August, September, October, November. If we're to believe that, that's 5 months of watching. Why wait that long to message someone in the month of October, which will be month 4, if it's verified that this obsession, stalking started in June? Okay? Because that's what would seem strange to me, that a person would be watching someone for that many months, and in the 4th month, send a message. The girl doesn't respond. So does he go make other fake accounts to try to reach out? She still doesn't respond. Was he ever deleted and blocked? He became infuriated because she wasn't responding as well. And you also hear in this commentary, account deleted before the deaths. So when did he delete the account? Day before killing the young ladies, allegedly, or afterwards, after the deaths of the girls and their friend, Ethan? Because one would say, well, if indeed he's the killer, he would have no reason to follow them because he murdered them, logically speaking. So I need a definite time of when he actually moved to Washington State, and when did he initially follow the girls on Instagram or any other platform, because that will show a lead of how this all started. Just following at first, a few months, then reached out, no response, then he went in for the kill. And if it's August, that would be even a shorter time span that he started following the girls. So I'm getting differences of information, August and June. It's a sick story because if information is coming out that he watched them, saw them, maybe got suggestions for them as friends, blah, 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 started following, I don't know, driving by the house to see where they lived. It's all macabre. It's all macabre because right now that's the question, the how and the why. Social media, why? Rejection. They remind him of some girls that teased him in school, girls that rejected him, girls that said no to a date. What happened? How did this person get pushed this far to madness? So, incel, angry, mad at the world, mad at women, mad because he can't get a girl, can't get a date. He doesn't think anybody likes him. Nobody's attracted to him. He's tried. So this last time rather, reach out to this person. They don't respond. He just goes ham. So we'd have to ask ourselves, would he have killed anybody? Disagreed with him, angered him, crossed him. What was the jump off? Being bullied, rejected. Did he reach out to other women? They didn't respond. Followed other women, commented, blocked, deleted. So what is it about this one female? Because we might find out that he messaged other girls, women, didn't get a response, maybe got something derogatory sent back to him in a message. But there's something about this one victim perturbed him to then reach out physically. Some may speculate that he's been in the house before or hid in the house, That's even more macabre. Because it's one thing to follow someone, then you're fantasizing, you're lusting, obsessing. Now you're finding where they live. You're riding by their house, looking, lurking. Now, God forbid, he's been in the house, wandering around while they're there or gone, which would be even more absurd to find out he was in the house when they were there, daylight savings time or nighttime. So let's say he's been in there before, lurking. Why this early morning, on November 13th? So will we find out that he's been in the house before? There will be some type of touch DNA on a surface where it shouldn't be fingerprint or whatever. Very scary information. Why this victim? So he only reached out to the one, just saying hello. No response. Why didn't she respond? Something about the profile? Was his account private? Was he using a meme? Because most people are not going to want to respond to a profile that has no picture, an animated meme. You'll think it's 9 times out of 10 a joke, somebody trying to be smart ass or something. So you won't respond. And as you also heard, he's not a friend of hers. It would go on message requests. So if she also didn't have notifications on the IG page account, she wouldn't notice it until she went into IG and looked specifically. Or could it just be she ignored the message, deleted the message, blocked the message? So what we also have to ask, how many accounts did he have? Separate phones, separate phone accounts. Did he reach out by different cell phones? Did he have burner phones? Those are the questions I have pertaining to this new information. Were there other victims he was stalking, obsessing over, lusting? Because you can't assume that this was just one female that he was desiring or perturbed by, lusting, obsessing over. There probably were more. We may also get information that he was seen driving around other areas in Moscow, Idaho. And I thought that's what was happening when the information first came out about his car being seen on camera, and a woman gave information to the police near an apartment unit. So I don't know if that apartment unit is nearby the girl's home or somewhere else in Moscow. But who's to say he wasn't stalking other residences in Moscow and also Pullman or any other small town? See, we don't know. And that will also be, as I said, interesting information if we find out his phone has pinged in other jurisdictions where he was stalking other women, ready to hurt other women, rejected by someone else. Now he's ready to pounce at their residence. Will we find out he was stalking other women, girls in the area? That would be just baffling to know there was somebody else on the list. Incel, woman hater, bitter, angry, or just this one girl he really wanted to talk to. Watched her pictures, live streams, maybe even watched her come in and out of the house. Maybe he found out where she worked. Maybe even found out her classes. Followed her on campus, around town. Is this the guy that Kaylee thought was stalking her? Or was she just exaggerating a bit about someone stalking her? What is the truth? Did she see this person in different places where she frequent? Because then one would say, well, why didn't she call the police? Get some help. Sometimes you have to what? Stalk the stalker. Or say something. Hey, I just noticed you back there at the other store. We just keep bumping into each other. That would probably scare a stalker. Oh, she spotted me. She's called me out. But everyone's not that bold to say anything to someone that they believe could be following them. Everyone's temperament is different. But imagine had he followed her around, she noticed, and she said something. It would have caught him off guard, and possibly he wouldn't have continued. He would have been too scared. Okay, she now knows who I am. But then, flip side, he's intrigued more. You can't tell with a diabolical mind, a deviant spirit. Were these other kids just in the way? And as I said before in my streams, if Kaylee was the target, the obsession, if it allegedly she was supposed to have moved out, why would he still be stalking her? Because at some point he would have realized she did not live at that residence. Allegedly, she purchased a car 2 days before the incident. So if he was following this house, watching this house, he would have known she did not live there anymore. So why would you continue stalking the house and then make your way into this house? Or is it that she actually still was living there? I'd need confirmation on that information as well. But in the end, he's sick. And I don't think it would have mattered who the female was. You can chop it up and dice it up 1,000 different ways. Why her? Why her? Why this one? Why that one? It was going to be somebody. I believe he's a very bitter person, angry person, mad at the world, and he would have hurt someone. And it just so happened to be a group of people in a house on November 13th. He would have chosen someone. And I won't doubt, had the bolo not went out on that car, the Hyundai Elantra, he would have continued the rampage in Washington and or Idaho. And that's an even scarier thought if he had not been apprehended. Because you have to remember, he was out free, walking around for 1 month. So what was he doing in that month? Please check out my commentary on that subject matter. Who is Bryan Christopher Kohberger? When did he decide to become a killer? Has he always thought about murdering people, harming people, exacting revenge? Why this female, whomever she is? Why kill her friends? Did they cross his path that morning in the house so he felt he had no other choice? The warrant to his apartment now has been unsealed. We get this new information pertaining to items seized from the apartment, information about data, compilations pertaining to the victims. Follow the victims on social media. So the next question is, did he follow the roommates that were not murdered? Because I'm sure many people are questioning that. And he had to have knowledge that all these girls lived in the same house because there are photographs of all of them. So who was the target? Why did he kill all of these kids, the 4, but left 2 alive? No one would have heard him if he kicked in a door, jimmied a door. He went in with a plan. He executed the plan. Assumingly, it went as he wanted. So you do have to ask about the 2 that are alive because he had knowledge of them. There's no way I'm going to believe he didn't, because they said he followed the girls. Doesn't specify if it's all 5 or the 3 that were murdered. So did he follow all 5 of them on social media? If so, why did he spare the 2? Was there only supposed to be 1 target murdered? I want to thank you for your time. like, share, subscribe. Share this video. Feel free to comment on my community post. Any updates I put there, I may discuss in a live stream, I may not. But any update to any other breaking news or story, please check my community board for the said information. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $McGangie 129 Cash App. All stickers and chats are welcome during the live stream. This is a haunting tale of 4 young people brutally murdered for no reason. And it won't matter how you dice it up, chop up the information, the who, the where, the why, the when. In the end, Bryan did not know these kids personally. He didn't have any dealings with them. 9 times out of 10, he did not know them. They did not know him. There was nothing personal between the victims and this perpetrator. So he chose them for whatever reason. And if it was not 1, 3, 2, 4, it was going to be somebody. Somebody's mother, father, family was going to be crying over their child because he's deviant. He's evil. And I believe he was going to kill someone because it is illogical to become fixated on a human being that you do not know and then follow them around, follow them on social media, go to their home, and then break in their house and kill them in a 3 to 5 month span. And if it went on for a year, it's illogical because he did not know her or those kids. And even if he had dated one, had sex with one, it still was no logical reason to murder her and her friends. Thank you for your time. You have been listening to The Vault.